AT&T, get out of a sinking ship? What? Working with a couple yesterday up in no, I won't say. But anyway, they're looking at retiring from AT&T. They shared some stories. Now this might just be some internal issues that they're having as longtime employees there. But man, I tell you, there is some serious. Look, I'm not saying what you should do, but I'm going to read you this article. I'm sitting there thinking, did you know the CEO, the ex-CEO of AT&T gets like a $250,000 a month pension? $250,000 a month. That's what, $3 million a year in pension? Randall Stevenson. What? These guys are telling me there's no jobs internally at AT&T. I mean, there's some, but basically, if you want to get a job, you need to look at the Bangladesh office, essentially. It's tough to get an internal job if you're stateside, but if you're in Bangladesh, there's all kinds of jobs available for you. Yeah, good stuff. Did you know AT&T owns CNN? I did not know that, but now I do. Why would AT&T own CNN? All right, so let's read this. This is from Seeking Alpha from Julian Lin. Revenues, net income, and free cash flow are all under pressure. Even HBO has failed to keep up with peers. While net debt has declined slightly, leverage has increased due to pressurized cash flows. In light of this, is due to sold his position. I do much more than... Okay, so anyway. It isn't easy to admit it, and this, what was the dateline on this? February 8th, okay, just a couple days ago. It isn't easy to admit a loss and move on, yet that's exactly what I'm doing with AT&T. As a fundamental performance relative to peers suggests deeply rooted issues that may persist far beyond the reaction to the pandemic. Shares yield a generous 7%, but I'm increasingly seeing this as a yield trap, as a large debt load may prove insurmountable. Let's see. In 2020, AT&T saw revenues decline at an accelerated pace. Hello, hey guys. So we have operating revenues is down 6 point. Yeah, but I mean that's in 2020. I mean, who knows what that's about? With a 5% decline in revenue, might not seem that bad in context of a nearly $150 billion of debt. Woo! Consider that in the prior year, AT&T had solid mid-digit revenue growth. I mean, so can you say AT&T should have revenue decline given that they're, I mean, they do communication stuff, and communication stuff would have done well this year, right? Last year, 2020, I don't know. But the moderate top-line decline led to precipitous bottom-line decline. Adjusted earnings per share declined 10.9%. To $3.18 a share, in spite of shares outstanding falling 2.2. So they reduced their shares outstanding. Is that from buybacks? I don't know. But the earnings per share fell by 11%, even though there's 2.2% less shares out there. All right. Well, hold on a second. Oh, we got a big baby Finney. The free cash flow declined by 5%, but that has helped by the fact that AT&T spent significantly less on capital expenditures. Interesting. Capital expenditure, ooh, look at that. Yeah, look at that. Significant. Interesting. Consider that the recent 5G spectrum auction closed with a record $80.9 billion in bids. Capital expenditures is likely to go significantly higher in the next few years. So even though the cash flow declined by only 5%, they didn't spend as much on capital expenditures, and it's probably going to change. Net debt declined by $4 billion, 3.5, as a result of deteriorating earnings. The more important debt to earnings before interest, taxes, debt, and amortization increased from 2.5 to 2.7 times. Debt to EBITDA increased from 2.5 to 2.7. That's a lot of debt. It's tempting to disregard the poor results of being solely due to the pandemic. However, if this is the case, why didn't the peers see the same? Verizon saw revenues decline by only 2% without any increase in leverage. T-Mobile overtook AT&T as the second largest wireless provider due to its acquisition of Sprint. The stark contrast in results suggests two things. T is losing market share. The legacy businesses are more than offsetting the relative stability in core businesses. I previously owned AT&T due to believing that there is some level of persistent growth, albeit small. However, with debt to EBITDA rising to 2.7 times, any sign of secular declines is a strong red flag and a reason to sell. This guy's been disappointed with HBO revenues too. Long-time AT&T shareholders might be more focused about the preservation of the dividend. I think that might be blinded by yield. You're blinded by the yield. If you strip away the 7% dividend yield, then AT&T looks like a company with a struggling core businesses and a ginormous debt load. It's concerning that even HBO has not been performing strongly due to the during the pandemic. It's easier said than done when the investment thesis is broken. However, with the facts written plainly on paper, I no longer can justify owning shares. All right, that's interesting. Let's see if we got any comments on here. Stephen, yeah. If AT&T is not 40 by the end of the year, I'll eat my wiener. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's see what AT&T is doing right now. And I don't own AT&T. I'm not trying to own it. I don't sell it. I have no stake. I have no dog in this fight. Is that 26 bucks a share? No price earnings ratio, huh? Does that mean earnings per share is negative 75 cents? It's still got 7.29% yield. Man, I don't know, man. Yeah, Jeff Zucker, CNN X as new. So does what's the name leave CNN finally? I don't know. They don't have any earnings, and they're carrying that debt. There is little excuse for carrying large debt loads. Merger and acquisition activity may not justify a pop in long-term debt. The confusion seems aligned in the executive mindset that stockholders do not own the company, do not hold themselves accountable for it. The SEC has encouraged corporations to raise cheap capital via stock sales and before the CEO places a golden shiny crown on their heads. Just go to year-to-date return and plug in how much a $10,000 invest in AT&T would have given you back from 1995. Well, let's try that. Year-to-date return. This is the guy who owns year-to-date return, I'm sure. All right, so let's try it. YTD return, or YTD.com, YTDreturn.com. Enter a symbol. Let's go to T. Chomp on chomps. Excuse me. Hey, what you got? What is that? Let's not eat that, buddy. I don't want you to plastic. All right, so this is year-to-date. Can we go further here? That's pretty interesting, man. Oh yeah, sweet. There we go. It goes back to night. Yeah, sweet, man. Let's do this. Let's compare it to the S&P 500. All right. Oh man, this is pretty sweet. So YTD return, I like it. So if you would have invested $10,000 in AT&T, it's worth $19,000 now. If you would have invested $10,000 in the S&P 500, it's worth $107,000. Good night. If you did not reinvest in dividends, your $10,000 invested in AT&T grew out at all 50% over 25 years. That's straight up ugly, man. Jeez Louise and blue cheese. Can you do? I don't even know who owns Verizon. Can you do Verizon on this thing? I don't know. Okay. This chart's pretty cool. YTDreturn.com. Big fan. Big fan first time, long time. All right. All right, so it's as far back as it goes. All right, so let's look at Verizon. Verizon's at 64,000 bucks. So there's your high dividend stuff, man. Verizon's at $64,000 going back to that's a little bit more than half of what the S&P 500 has done. All right, let's look at Amazon. It's fun to always say, "Whoa, I could have been rich. I could have had something. You could have had something." Let's look at Amazon. I'm sure it won't go back to 1995. So 97. If you would invest $10,000 in Amazon in 1997, you'd be worth $18 million today. Jeez, man. Just think of, $18 flipping million. How insane is that? Crazy. What's another one we'll look at? Let's look at Coke. What's Coke? KO? Is that what Coke is? Let's see here. Isn't that Coke? Let's see. KO's Coke, right? Yeah. So that's so the fact that S&P 500 had some high flying stocks just meant you got some of the high stocks, but you also got set back by some of these lower hanging fruit. Let's look at real quick. We'll look at this one. Whoa, Grumpy Skins. Hi, Grumpy. Oh, let's look at ExxonMobil. What's up, dog? What's up, doggy? All right, so year to date, ExxonMobil is on a looks like on a tear. Hey, is that $49? Oh, Finnegan. So ExxonMobil would be worth 60,000, and the S&P 500 would be worth. Oh, did I not compare it to the? Yeah, compare. Hold on a sec. There we go. Fin. S&P 5. So ExxonMobil be worth 60,000. S&P 500 be worth 100. So again, it seemed like I had something else I wanted to do. I forgot. But anyway, there you go. So the dividends aren't your saving grace for sure. If you're trying to get some growth out of it, that's for sure. It seemed like I forgot what I was going to do. I had another stock in mind I wanted to do. I can't remember. All right, so there you go, man. Look, dividend rank top 25. That's pretty cool, man. Dividend channel, lots of good stuff here. I like it. I just so these guys had basically more than half their portfolio in AT&T. Not the stock, but they're looking, should we rely on AT&T to provide us a pension or roll it over? So we had a good discussion about that, but man, some scary stuff there. Again, if the former CEO who hadn't returned any money of value to the shareholders is getting $250,000 a year pension, I'm sure it's a cost of living. That just, what the hell is that? All right, we'll see you. Those of you guys who stayed long, here we go. Look at that puppy. Hey, why do you always look away? Oh, don't you love him? Yeah, give me a kiss. Oh, I love this. Oh, yeah, good boy. He's so cute. But his breath stinks. We just got these greeny things, or minties, whatever they're called. Some guy told me about these. Doesn't do much for his stinky breath, but he's awful cute. Look at those eyes. Yeah, good boy. All right, see you guys.